welcome to Gcast 62. I'm here with sixsicksixes, Sarge, and S&M, or Malice. S&M and Sarge share the same first name, so we're going to use online handles for this Gcast, which isn't too uncommon, I think. So, yeah, thanks for showing up, everybody. We have a couple topics to talk about. S&M, you said you wanted to talk about Smash, the Smash demo. So why don't you lead off with that?
Yeah, I happened upon a code last weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and I put in several hours since, both kind of solo against the AI and also with some local multiplayer.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, I'm liking what I'm seeing.
Mm.
I think now I'll preface this by saying it has been a while since I sat down and played Smash.
Mm-hmm.
The whole grad school thing kind of sucks up your time, but um, I mean it's been fun so far. It's run really well. I've been pretty impressed with that. I think visually it's working. It looks really good,
Right.
and the characters that have come back, just as a kind of a brief overview, play as familiarly as I expect them to. I mean, I played a
Mm-hmm.
lot of Mario, and like it's natural sliding back into playing Mario. It's natural sliding back into playing Pikachu or whoever else. And the
Right.
new and I think it was important for the demo to have new characters to play with, and they're interesting, certainly. I think I think we
Yeah.
definitely, yeah, I'd agree that the villager has a unique skill set, and Mega Man is actually interesting to play. It's definitely a little adjustment.
Yeah, they're both of those new characters. So for those who don't know, the Smash 3DS demo, there's five characters you can play as. There's Mario, Link, and Pikachu as the veterans, and two new characters are Mega Man and the Villager from Animal Crossing. And both Mega Man and the Villager don't really play like a standard Smash Fighter, which is kind of weird to say because there isn't like really a standard Smash Fighter, I guess. I mean, there's certainly like a model, um, but like, so for instance, like all of Mega Man's um, quote unquote melee attacks, what you use the A button with, are all projectiles, just about. So they all have like a range, but they're all like not quite as powerful. They don't do quite as much hit stun. And the villager's just like his
All over the place.
his moveset is insanity. Like I've been playing him pretty much exclusively. I've messed with Mega Man and Pikachu, but 95% of my matches on the demo have been with the villager, just so I can like wrap my head around him. He has I mean, it's insane. Like he has like his forward aerial and back aerial, which are normally like a front kick and a back kick. They use like he has like a slingshot instead, so it's kind of like that Mega Man thing where it's like a projectile. Um,
Yeah, that's something to adjust to. I'm not used to range being on air attacks like that.
yeah, and it comes in really useful in certain situations. Those attacks in particular have like very little lag, very little punishability. The only thing is, it's very hard for me to like master. Like, what I want to do is I like want to do like a short hop so that I can like hit somebody on the ground with the slingshot, and pulling that off is very difficult for me right now.
Yeah,
Um,
short hopping seems to be a little harder to do. Like it's hard to do those really low hops. Like
right,
if you want to run in as Mario, short hop into his forward aerial.
right,
That's a wonderful spike.
right, and yeah, I can't tell if it's because of the 3DS Circle Pad or just because it's the new engine. But I'm gonna keep trying to master that. Another
Oh no, I
part,
can't wait. I can't wait for the options menu so I can disable up jump.
yes, or yes, that's gonna help with tilts. Villager has an awesome up tilt, but I only pull it off when I'm trying to pull off like an up smash. um, Another part of the villager that's really hard to, wasn't hard, but I had to think about it. Was Pocket, which can you can literally steal any projectile in the game, any item in the game, except for like Pokeballs, assist trophies, and there's like one move you'd think it would be able to get that it can't get. I
That
think
move is
it.
so stupid.
Uh, what's that?
I said that move is so stupid.
It can steal Pikachu's down B Thunder attack. Like it's insane, you know. Um, it's what's even more insane about it is I posted a GIF of this on the forums, but for the first couple frames of it, it makes the villager invincible, right? So Link used his final smash on the villager, but the villager used Pocket. The villager didn't steal the final smash, but he was still like completely unaffected by it,
Which is still pretty good.
yeah seems pretty darn broken. On the other side, I have to say the villager is a lot slower than I'm used to. Um, like I played slow characters before, but nothing like he doesn't look like he would be a slow character, like in the same way DDD or Bowser would be.
Yeah.
He's just, when he's in the air, he's like really floaty. Pulling off the short hops is difficult. Um, I'm still having trouble with the Lloyd rocket, which is a great attack, but I can never find out. I can never like. There's very few situations I've been able to use it effectively. Like you start it up, and you can like send it off towards the other part of the stage, or you can ride it. It just seems to have like just a little bit like too much lag on it, getting it started. Um,
It's also part of the 1-2 combo that makes his recovery absolutely bananas.
his recovery is like
He doesn't die.
no, unless you hit him with like a smash attack and hit him into the edge of the screen, he is gonna come back no matter what. Like no matter what, like there's nothing
Like
you
there
can
there is
do.
there is a 0% chance that if he is not propelled to the side that he falls off. Like
Yes.
it's between his up B and his rocket, it's just I'm getting back on the stage and you're gonna deal with it.
Yeah, so the Lloyd rocket travels like 90% of the stage horizontally. And a balloon fighter, you can go basically anywhere in the stage you want for it for like up to a full 2 seconds, which doesn't sound like a lot when I'm saying it, but um, like 2 seconds in Smash is like forever. Like you're like you could be like on the other side of like I don't know. It's insane. It's very insane.
Yeah.
Easily the best recovery of any Smash character I've ever seen. Um, uh, the last thing I'll say about Villager is I've also been getting a lot of use out of um, the the tree. I don't know what it's called, sprout or something like that, where you plant a tree, then you water it, then you cut it down. And I'm pretty sure it's just I've been getting use out of it just because the AI is really stupid. Like even on level 9, I'm very doubtful that this move is going to be any good at all in like normal one versus one with humans. But I've been having fun with it. Planting and watering are like they take a lot less time than I thought they would, which is nice.
Yeah.
Um, so moving on from the villager, the other player I played as mostly was Pikachu. He's gotten quite a few buffs. I feel like his down B Thunder, like I'm not sure if it
It
like
feels better.
it feels a lot better. It also I'm not sure if it always had the cloud or if like the cloud is
No,
like
it had the cloud.
it's had the cloud, but it feels like it's lower in this game, which is kind of like a slight nerf. But it also spikes whoever it hits downwards, which is like insane. Like I've had it happen to me, like a CPU did it to me while I was riding the Lloyd rocket. And I was just like, damn, what the hell, you know?
I've
Um,
noticed it kind of go through those fall through platforms too from time to time.
yeah, yeah. I think you have to be
I've
like
noticed a pattern. I think you have to be planted beneath
yeah,
them
completely
for it
on
to
the
fall.
ground and stopped.
But that's significant.
That is significant. I'm not sure if that would have been great in melee and brawl, but with the Omega form of stages, the Final Destination stages. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if it's that big a deal now, um, just because there's like no floating platforms in those versions, which is kind of
Yeah.
stupid, but it is what it is. I've been using the Omega form exclusively in the demo, just because I really hate the Gus Bellows item. It seems like whenever a CPU can get that, he just like annoys the hell out of me. You know?
That it's a surprisingly powerful item.
I know. It's crazy. I did hear that they nerfed the Scarab or whatever, that other item from Skyward Sword.
Oh yeah,
So
it's a cute item.
it doesn't even do anything now, I guess. Um,
Well, I haven't had any updates on it that I've noticed, so
mm,
I guess we'll wait and see when the final version comes out.
hmm Well, I heard at E3 it would be like a an automatic kill, but in this one it seems like people can break out of it a lot easier.
Yeah, I think I either got a kill or got close to one from it. I don't think it's guaranteed. Kind of like the
hmm
Galaga boss.
hmm
It's not guaranteed, but it
hmm
can be. I've gotten hit with Galaga. Like it's tricky to get out of.
hmm
There's a lot of waggling necessary.
I don't know if I've ever gotten hit by the Galaga thing. I guess I should play with items on more often.
I just screw around. You know, most of my play has been four players screwing around on the normal battlefield, or I've been doing some one-on-one against level 9 computers
hmm
on just battlefield with platforms.
Right.
I'm not a giant Final Destination person. Like I feel if you're gonna play Smash, play Smash.
hmm I agree. I would play like normal Battlefield, but um, in the Final Destination mode, items are off, and I just wanted to like get a feel for how the villager played without being like constantly interrupted by like BS items.
Yeah,
Um, and then um, the third character I played as was Mega Man. He was a lot better than I thought he was going to be. Like I heard, like impressions out of E3 was that he was like a very difficult character, and he was like, he couldn't really do a lot. But he's got quite an arsenal, I have to say.
he's got a lot
Um,
of variety in what he can do, and
yeah,
I'm really liking some of his abilities are really good.
yeah, like Leaf Shield is neat. It doesn't block everything, but it's nice for getting like an extra layer of defense. Plus, it can be used offensively. You know, um,
Yeah,
his up smash, I think the drills,
the needle thing.
yeah, with the electricity.
Yeah,
Though that has like such an insane juggle game. Like the CPU, whenever the CPU was a Mega Man, like it was like hard to like actually like touch the ground after he started doing that to me. Um,
yeah.
so I think that has potential. Um, Crash
I've been pretty pleased with his running attack.
the dash attack.
The top spin.
Yeah, I was about to say that. Yeah, where he like does like a twirl. That's
Yeah,
really good. That's a really good attack. I really liked using that. Um, Probably his only like really good melee attack. I have to say, like non projectile based. Um, I like that his like the standard A attack is his Mega Buster. Uh,
yeah.
shooting lemons. um, what else is there? There's
His up air is pretty solid. He's my
uh,
light jug. I don't
the
know. The fact that it hits two or three times is pretty solid.
is
The tornado that carries them up.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's a good
good.
one. Yeah. I thought you meant the his up special, the rush coil, which isn't
Oh
really
yeah.
that good. Could be worse. I don't think
I
it's
mean
that good.
it's a recovery like you kind of expect it to be. So
Yeah.
the second jump is pretty solid, but
Yeah. I've
when
been
you really want it, you're not going to get the second jump.
yeah. I've been spoiled by Villager already. I've gotten too used to like balloon fighting my way out of like every single circumstance. Um,
I need to play more and not be garbage as Link.
hmm. I heard
I'm so bad as Link.
I heard Link's better. I heard he's lighter in this game, which I like.
He's
I
some of his moves are different.
I hated like in Melee and Brawl he felt way too heavy to me, which is why I always went for Young Link, or Toon Link. Um,
Yeah, he was definitely a little heavier than he probably needed to be.
yeah, but that's kind of like his appeal, I guess. Um, but so what's different? Tell me what's different.
So his dash attack, I don't remember the old version, but I don't recall it being the current dash attack where he does the sort of jump slash like he's had in the recent 3D Zelda games. That kind of leaping
Oh
sword
yeah,
down
yeah,
attack.
yeah, yeah. I think that is new.
That's different and it's strong. It's a good
Hmm.
attack. Um, his up B, his sword spin is different on the ground too. It's not just an attack like it was. You can actually smash it and
Hmm.
charge and release it.
Ah, that makes sense because you can do
Yeah,
that in
it's still
Zelda.
it's still yeah, it's still the same recovery, in the air, but on the ground it can be kind of flicked and charged now, which I think adds an extra little bit to it. Like I said, I haven't played as much as I need to because I'm rotten with Link.
Hmm.
He's the only character in the demo I'm absolutely rotten with.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, that's probably true for me too. I probably have, I can transfer a lot of my Luigi skills over to Mario probably without much fuss. Because
yeah, I was
that's I'm a Luigi player through all three games before this one.
uh, I was I was a little surprised. I actually adjusted to the control setup was a little weird feeling, but I thought the adjustment was actually pretty smooth. I mean, every button does what it's done before, but it's all in different places.
Yeah. You mean in terms of being on the 3DS?
Yeah, it's just a different feel. Like, I'm normally used to GameCube controller
Right.
and just the way it feels, where the buttons are,
Hmm.
and so this is just a little bit of an adjustment, but I think it works.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't mind being able to move a few things around, but I think as is, I think it works pretty well.
Yeah. Took me about two matches to adjust. I mean, I was like I've been kind of like expecting like how the controls would be. What still gets me from time to time is um, I think this is the circle pad's fault. Is just like differentiating between a dash or a smash attack or a tilt. Trying
Yeah, it
to
seems it seems to have a little. It seems to be a little um, less easy to kind of pick out that differentiation than say a control stick has been.
right, and it's like if this were a slower paced game, I don't think it would be an issue. But just you need that like millisecond like clutch.
Yeah, I have trouble with Mega Man for that exact reason, where sometimes I want to smash and do the Mega Buster, and then I'll dash and do the
Hmm.
top spin instead. And I'm just like that is not what I wanted to do,
Yep.
but I'll deal with it.
Yep. Yep. I've tried to yeah, like I do the same thing with villagers. Like I dash, and when I mean to use the bowling ball. Side note: I forgot to bring up the bowling ball. Bowling ball is awesome, by the way.
Bowling ball is so powerful.
Bowling ball is awesome. It's it telegraphs easily, so if your opponent isn't like caught up in something else, then they're gonna easily like roll out of the way. But if you like catch them with it, it's like bam. Um, his dash attack's really good too, and what's good about his dash attack is it's basically a projectile. Like you stop, and then like the potted plant like just keeps flying for like another like 40% of the distance.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I like using that a lot. So, well, anyways, so last character is Mario, obviously. And as a Mario player, what are your thoughts on the tweaks and any additions?
I mean, I can't recall exactly the kind of knockback direction on the forward air,
Mm-hmm.
but I noticed it's a spike and it's
Uh,
it's it's a solid hit. Like I had to recur I had to score a kill at the end of this match and I just ran off at the guy and I was just like, Spike, you're dead.
that
Um
the big fist.
yeah, that's that forward, just that big
Ah,
punch forward. Like if it hits, it's just straight down.
nice.
Um like like he just it's just sliding back into that exact gameplay is almost exactly the same as I can remember. Like I don't
Nice.
noticed anything really different. I will say I've always undervalued Flood,
Yeah.
but I've seen it. But I have seen computers use it with some crazy knockback, and the fact that it denies them any further jumps
Hmm.
and the amount of knockback it can do is surprisingly good. I never think to charge it.
Right. I mean, it's an attack that does knock back without doing damage. So,
Yeah,
um,
it's more just a pushback than anything.
yeah. I was actually going to ask you about that. Like, as a Mario player through the series, like, what were your thoughts on Flood being introduced in Brawl? I didn't really care for it, to be honest, but I wasn't a Mario player, so it didn't really bother me that much.
I mean, I adjust the stuff. I mean, he kept the little tornado spin. It became an air move, which
Right,
is still
down
a
air.
solid air move. Um, but I always like versatility. I like having options.
Hmm.
And given that if you're gonna down, you're probably gonna down smash in a situation like that rather than cyclone.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the added utility of having that unique attack that it's not always going to be useful, but when it's useful and you've got it, you're just going to love having it.
Right.
And just the recovery denial it provides, I think if I can kind of get it into my brain
Mm-hmm.
to work with that more, I think it's going to be super useful.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are some characters that are still just going to laugh at it anyway. Villager, for example, it's going to fly
Yeah.
right over it. It's just not going to matter.
Right.
But other characters, especially weak recovery, like
Yeah.
I imagine Little Mac being,
Yeah.
um, gonna hate Flood.
Yep. Yep. It all depends on like the current matchup. And it's funny you bring up Villager because I feel like um, the watering can, like the second stage of the tree attack, has given me more appreciation for Flood because that attack it's like a weaker version. It like if you do it, it like skids the opponent like 25% of the stage away. So that's come in handy a couple times for me.
Yeah, you notice once the tree is planted, you can just walk around and use the axe.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. The axe is really powerful, but it also has a lot of startup lag. So I don't use it too often. Also, I never know exactly when the tree's going away, so it's kind of like a risky move. Um, I also have noticed if the opponent attacks the tree with fire attacks, it goes down way quicker. Um,
Hmm.
so that might be something to keep an eye on. Like
Yeah.
uh, what's the character like Link? He threw two bombs at a tree I had just like fully matured, and it like went right back down. Um,
Huh.
so yeah, something to be aware of. Um, you said something. Oh, the down tornado attack. Um, are you aware of the other characters that haven't been officially announced?
I've seen the full roster.
Okay.
I haven't watched a video on some of the more obscure characters
Hmm.
that haven't been as public because
Okay.
I kind of just want to wait and just see for myself how they play.
Right. Well, this is one
But
that's
I'm
been
aware of I'm aware of who the roster is.
okay. So anybody who doesn't want to hear this can like turn it off for the next like 20 seconds. Um, Dr. Mario, apparently the Cyclone is back to being down B, I think. So that's actually like an interesting way to bring a clone back. Like you've changed the original character, and then you bring like the clone back as like how the character originally played, I guess.
I'm
Um,
curious to see what his final smash will be.
oh, it's you want to know?
No, I don't actually.
Okay. Um,
I'm gonna wait and see.
uh,
I didn't figure it would be the crazy fireball of awesome, but
it's it's I wouldn't get your hopes up. um, I thought it was neat, but a little lazy. But anyways,
it happens.
um, yeah. So that's Smash 3DS.
So
Any other
one
things?
final thought I do have,
Yeah, yeah.
and this is not really the gameplay specifically. So, I mean, it feels like this is getting a lot more out of the 3DS than a lot of other games have, just by how smooth it plays and how good it looks.
Mm-hmm.
It, I don't know if you've noticed it on if you if it's just my regular original 3DS, but it seems like there is a lot of stuff happening, I guess, in the background when you go into the demo
Mm-hmm.
and then when you leave the demo.
Hmm.
Like it's just taking shutting off part of the OS to get that extra horsepower.
Hmm.
Because when I exit the demo, like the entire thing goes black, like I've turned it off, but I mean it's still on,
Hmm.
and then it'll go okay. I'll shut Smash Demo down now, and now here's the main menu for your 3DS. And
Yeah.
there's a significant lag going into it too.
Interesting.
So I'm
Yeah.
curious about that. And none of the other demos or software I have, even full games like Donkey Kong,
Mm-hmm.
have done that.
It's an interesting observation. I haven't ever exited out of the demo yet. Like it's been like running like all the time on mine. Um, but yeah, you could there definitely might be something there. Like the victory screens. Like I every time it goes to the victory screen, like my eyes widen. I'm just like, this looks so good. Like everything is like so like high poly and the textures are high res, and I think it's because of like the black outline style they're using. It makes it look like it doesn't have any anti-aliasing or aliasing either. So it just looks like it's running on like a much better system. Um, it looks crazy good, crazy good.
Yeah, and actually, speaking of the outline, that made me think about this. I remember when they were talking about using the bottom screen to highlight particular fighters.
Hmm.
That's changed.
Hmm.
Or they mentioned that they would get brighter, the outline would get brighter, and it's the square reticle that
Huh.
hovers over characters.
I haven't
I don't know if you
noticed that.
messed around with that feature at all or not.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I remember when they first announced it, they said the character would be brighter on the top screen, like the outline would be colored
Thicker.
in or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they would stand out a little more. Well, now it's just a kind of plain square reticle over the character now. So I'm not sure if that's a demo thing or an update I missed or
Hmm.
what that may end up being. So,
Interesting.
but we'll
Um,
find out in a couple of weeks.
yeah, I guess. Or we could watch streams on Twitch like I'm doing. And
No, I'm not. I refuse to overload myself with a video. I'm
yeah,
just
I'm actually not watching like a ton of it now that I have the actual demo to play. Um, but yeah, I can see why you'd want to avoid it.
all
Um,
right. I think that's all of our Smash discussion. Everybody else can stand for now.
yeah, I know. It's like, are there anybody else in this podcast? um, Six, do you have any thoughts? Were you able to play the demo?
Not at all.
Mm. Do you want a code? We could maybe.
I don't have a 3DS, so that's not possible.
Oh
But
man.
I'll take a code anyway.
Yeah. I wonder if there's codes on eBay. Probably, right?
I'm sure some idiot will pay to get a game a week early
Well, a
or to get a
game
demo a week early.
demo, yeah. Well, even the full version they're putting out is limited to 30 uses, whereas the Club Nintendo one is unlimited uses. So there might be
Yeah.
a market for that kind of thing. Um, cool. Yeah, that's the Project G Forum Smashcast. Thank you for tuning in. Um, but yeah, I mean, we've both been playing it like ever since that demo went up, so it's obvious we would have a lot to talk about. I kind of avoided posting my thoughts on the forum just because I wanted to save it up for the Gcast, you know?
Yeah.
Um, okay, so moving on. Destiny was released last Tuesday, a week ago today. This is something that I have very little knowledge of, so I might disappear into the background like a couple of the other people when we were talking about Smash. Um, Anybody play a Destiny yet?
I have not.
I don't think any of us have actually. Astral
But
Frost.
this is gonna be real. This is gonna be real awkward if
Yeah.
nobody has played
Yeah,
the game.
it as much as I have been a fan of Bungie in the past,
Hmm.
whenever I see Destiny, as much as I see a promise, I also see Borderlands, and I
Mm.
really hate Borderlands.
Mm.
Like 1 and 2, I hate them both to death. Like I think they're horrible games that are just incredibly tedious and not even a little bit fun to play.
Interesting.
I wasn't really a fan of Borderlands either. There was like a
Mm.
free weekend for it, and I didn't really enjoy it.
Yeah,
I enjoyed.
one of my good friends is he likes both of them quite a lot, and he actually I think he got me a copy of the first one on Steam, and I lasted about I would say 3 hours before I decided I was never going to play it again.
Mm. Are you guys into like looty games, or is that just?
Yeah. The only game I've really been spending any time playing lately is actually Diablo 3, which I play off and on, and that's, a very looty kind of game. It's just, I don't know. There's something about a first-person shooter, especially
Hmm.
in a sort of open world, very multiplayer heavy kind of environment that just doesn't really click with me, and I don't really know why, but I get bored very fast.
Hmm. I guess. I mean, that game doesn't even have like a very strong story aspect either.
Right, and that's one of the other things is that, it's Bungie, and I know they know how to tell a good story because they did it in a couple of the Halo games, particularly the first one. And what I saw from Destiny at first made me hope that I was going to see something that reminded me of Halo 1, which is that sort of very big open adventure across, some place you've never seen before sort of game.
Hmm.
But then I watch more and more, and it's like, nope, you actually spend most of your time fiddling with your class and running around doing, multiplayer events and stuff like that, and that just didn't interest me as much.
Yeah.
Uh,
What's that?
well, I saw the Metacritic score on Destiny, and it has a lower score than Sonic Adventure 2. I'm not saying Sonic Adventure 2 was a good game, but it's just
Yeah. The
apparent.
the reviews for it have been surprisingly tepid. I think. Like it surprised a lot of people with like. I mean, it's an Activision AAA, you know, $100 million or whatever um, adventure. You'd think like shooter. You think the games media would be all in on it, hyping it
Mhm.
up, but they've actually been not
Have the
so.
reviews finally started rolling in?
Yes, they started rolling in last week, I think.
Oh, okay, that's a little bit more indifferent than I expected.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm seeing the averages and all that. I mean, they're scores that are good, but
Right.
considering the hype surrounding the game and the pedigree of the developer, you would expect better.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. So a lot of people were surprised about that. Basically, everybody I know in real life who has a console able to play it has bought it, um, and they like it. Um, it just seems like maybe like a threadbare experience, I think.
Yeah.
But I can't really comment on it since I haven't played it or kept up with a lot of it. Um, but yeah, surprisingly lukewarm reaction. Hmm.
Mm.
Cool. So that was Destiny.
Destiny in a nutshell.
Nobody has played it, and everyone is skeptical.
Hmm. Um, there's a bullet point here for Mega 64's 10th anniversary. Does anybody here care about Mega 64?
I'm a fan actually, but I haven't seen this. It's a video, I assume.
It's a video teaser for their 10th anniversary special.
Okay, I do. I am definitely a fan of a lot of their stuff.
Hmm. I've become a really big fan since I saw them at PAX this year.
They do pretty good panels, don't they?
They do, like, it was the third panel of theirs I've gone to, and it was like the best that they've done that I've seen. And I say that every year.
Did they cosplay?
No,
Okay.
they said they weren't gonna cosplay anymore, I think. Um,
Well, they also said that at a panel where they were in cosplay. Like there was one where they all dressed up as characters from Dragon Ball Z.
mhm,
Uh, Rocco, he was dressed as Goku,
right,
and then Garrett was he was Piccolo,
right.
and I'm blanking on his name. I think Derek,
Sean?
the skinny blonde guy,
Sean.
Sean. He was dressed as Chaozu. And anyway, so they sit down, and the first thing they say is, "We're sorry we didn't have time to cosplay this year." You know, so so they've said it before. I'll find the video. It's on YouTube somewhere.
That's funny because they did the Funimation crossover a couple months ago, which was that's like their favorite video of theirs, um, of mine, anyways.
Okay,
Just
yeah, this was at an anime expo in 2012.
okay.
Yeah, so
Um,
the link's down there in the chat.
I've been looking up snippets of their podcasts released over the years. They're like in the 300 now or something. So there's like tons of different clips on YouTube, and they were talking about uh, possibly cosplaying as DBZ at a con one day. So it makes
Mm.
sense that they would do that. Um,
Yeah,
when they eventually did the official quote unquote DBZ Battle of Gods video for Funimation um, in July, Goku or Rocco was Goku. Garrett was Piccolo. Piccolo went Super Saiyan in the video. Um,
how did that work?
it was just like a smorgasbord of like really dumb things that like only DBZ fans would get. Um, so I'll post it. Let me look it up in a second.
Okay.
Um,
Okay, yeah, and Derek was Vegeta in this panel.
yeah, he was Vegeta in the video too. He had like a British accent for some reason.
Yeah,
Okay.
one of my good friends in real life, he introduced me to Mega 64 about wow, it's been this makes me feel old now. It's been about 10 years.
Oh wow.
Uh that it was back when Splinter Cell Chaos Theory came out,
Hmm.
and they did a series of Splinter Cell Chaos Theory videos, like comedy videos, where they would try and do like the stealth moves from the co-op in public, and stuff like that, and it was really good.
Hmm.
And ever since then, I've seen a lot of their stuff, and also some of the stuff that Rocco does by himself.
Hmm.
Like he's got this ridiculous series of like 5-second videos called Street Meals, which which you could look up that are pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been getting into like all their individual stuff. I've followed Sean's YouTube channel last week. He's got some some pretty funny stuff. Um, he had a uh, he had this one off. I don't know if he like intended for it to be a series, but it was like labeled as if it was like going to be like a new series he was going to do. It was like Shawname or something, where he would watch a random episode of a random anime, and like comment on it or something. Like kind of like the uh, what's it called? Uh, um, Mystery Space Theater
Oh
Mystery
yeah,
3000.
Mystery
Science Theater.
Science Theater. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and whatever laugh tracks. That's what I was thinking of. So that kind of thing.
Mm.
Um, I didn't really. It was it was decently humorous. I didn't watch the whole 22 minutes of it though, but because I had no interest in that anime. Um, but yeah, they're all doing like pretty cool stuff. I always watch their podcast now. The podcast is really funny. In fact, I have their latest podcast, a tab open to it. 20 minutes left on it. Still have to finish it.
Do you ever watch their Game of the Year awards?
Oh my god, that was like. It was the Todd Aaron's Game Awards,
Yeah, yeah.
the Sonic Sucks video, and PAX. Like all those things like coalesced into like a really strong Mega 64 fan emerging in me.
Yeah. Their Game of the Year awards are the best.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
kind of a late bloomer on on being a Mega 64 fan.
mhm.
I've
Well, I
seen
think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I've seen quite a bit of their videos. There was one where they there was an article that said that sitting was the new smoking, so they decided to stop sitting. There was also a series called Indie Man.
Oh yeah, Indie Man was awesome. Um, I like their other video. You know, if you're not indie, fuck you. That was a great video. Um, Games journalism, the movie is one of my favorites. The angry rage nerd who gets pissed off um, at bad games or whatever it's called. That was pretty funny. Um, Man, they put out a lot of great stuff over the years.
Yeah, well, I think probably the most famous one was the MGS4 video they did, where they got like Kojima in there,
Right.
and fucking Cliffy B from Epic.
Right.
I
Cliffy's
don't know.
been in a couple of theirs now.
Yeah, so that was like their big one that I think got them a lot of exposure.
Well, you see, that one was playing off of um, the one I saw, my first Mega 64 video. I think this was like 2006, where they dressed up as Mario and Luigi and they were jumping around, and then Miyamoto
Mm.
showed up at the end of it, and it's like this hit. Like I was a really hardcore Nintendo fan back then, and this like blew
Oh, I
up on
remember.
blew up this blew up on like all the Nintendo blogs because it's like, holy shit, this Miyamoto agreed to be in this like stupid internet video. Like it was like really mind blowing. Of course, it doesn't really match up to the Kojima one where he actually like participated in it.
Mm.
Um, and I like I think it was the Rock Band 3 one where was it Gabe Newell? Um,
I must not have seen that one.
it's like the same. It's like the third in the trilogy or something where they're like running around town dressed as the Beatles, um, and then Gabe Newell shows up at the end. In the same alleyway. Kojima and Miyamoto showed up in,
Yeah, yeah.
and they were both like, well, I guess this is okay. We were kind of expecting like Ringo or like George, you know, from from the Beatles, but and then I forget how it ends, but it was pretty good. So yeah, Mega 64, good stuff.
Yep, look them up. YouTube, lots of content. Watch it.
Yeah, and go to their panels if you're ever able to, because their panels are insane. And they also I'm like really I respect them a lot because they put like a lot of, well, not a lot, but they put work into making panel exclusive content. Like this is something we're only going to show at panels or at this panel,
Hmm.
and they tell people please don't record it, and I'm really happy that nobody actually has recorded any of this stuff. So kudos to all the other Mega 64 fans out there not being douchebags, um, keeping
If
keeping the panel experience.
if I was a fan sooner, I would have went to those panels.
Hmm. Well, if you're ever in Boston for PAX, we'll definitely hit it up.
Eh, maybe.
Do they do panels at Comic Con?
I don't think so.
Hmm. Because PAX is definitely out of the question. PAX is open Boston.
What about PAX Prime? They do one there.
Um, maybe.
Hmm. They do one at, what was it? It was like,
Well, because I mean, PAX is in. There's one in Texas, right?
I'm not sure. There was
Because I know one's in Boston. I know one's in Seattle. Seattle's way far from here.
right.
Um,
They went
and I
to they went to RTX in the past year. I think that's in Texas. I think they had a panel there. I think.
yeah, the place that would be close that I would expect that they would show up at would be LA. LA is only 4 hours from where I live, but like Seattle and all that is hundreds of miles.
Oh yeah. Here we go. RTX, Austin, Texas.
Okay.
I think they had a panel there. I'm like 60% sure. But they were definitely there at least. I think they had a booth, at the very least. So
So yeah, out here I would get to go to stuff like E3, which is not very easy to get into.
Hmm.
Did they actually ever reopen it to the public?
I don't think it was ever technically open to the public.
Well, I mean, you know how they went through a period of time, and it
Yeah,
may still be
yeah,
ongoing, where it was like really, really closed.
yeah.
Like I know that the process for getting into it before was a bunch of jumping through hoops BS. I mean, you could do it if you really wanted to, and
Hmm.
you knew the right people.
Hmm.
But then they went through a point where it was just like not possible unless you were invited, basically.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm not. I think it definitely. I think it's opened up more since then, but I don't know if it's like back to the level it was. Like for me, I never I never expect to get into E3, so it's not something I really pay attention to. You know.
Mhm.
Have you been to E3?
I haven't. I've been to a couple of different conventions down in LA and Anaheim, and I've been to a couple of MLG events down in Anaheim, but I've never been to E3.
Hmm.
But there have been a couple of years where people I have known are like, "Hey, if you want to go, just let me know," because they were part of the gaming industry or whatever. If you like work at a GameStop or you're like you write for a website or blah
Right.
blah,
Right.
all those different qualifications, and then they can help you out.
Yeah.
But I never ended up going because it was just bad timing or I didn't have any money.
Right. Yeah. Um.
And of course, having attended large scale nerd conventions, it gets pretty smelly in there, man.
Yeah.
It's kind of bad.
Yeah. Yeah. PAX was no different. It was well. It wasn't awful most of the time. There were certainly some points where it was like,
Yeah, at the MLG I attended in 2012, it was in July, so it's summer in
ah,
LA.
oh my
And so
god.
by the time you get to like 5, 6 in the afternoon, and you've got 5,000 people in this one giant auditorium all day,
Mm-hmm.
and they're giving out free Mountain Dew. You wish that it was actually it was Dr. Pepper. You wish that it was like Speed Stick
Yeah,
instead of
or Axe or
instead of
something.
Dr. Pepper, or yeah, even Axe. And I don't really like the smell of Axe, but it's better than the smell of Nerd.
Yep.
Uh,
Spray
but yeah,
on.
you'd wish they would do something, or you wish that those people would just wash in their goddamn hotel rooms.
We wish that they would like rig up like Axe or whatever to like the sprinkler system and just like constantly like mist the audience.
Like you're at a water park where they have the misters and stuff, but except
Yeah, yeah,
it's like air freshener. It's just constantly being cycled through the building.
yeah.
There you go. That might solve the problem.
Well, if we ever have Project G Forum Expo, that's definitely what we're gonna do.
I don't think we'll have that attendance issue.
Yeah, you'll like rent out like a church somewhere. There'll be like 12 people.
Yeah, yeah. It probably won't be something to worry about. uh, okay, cool. I have a last topic here is Microsoft buying Mojang, makers of Minecraft. I don't really have really much to say about this.
So
Not
they bought what the servers and the rights and shit, so they can run the game now.
They bought the entire company, so the
Oh,
intellectual
okay.
property, the developers. Um, basically the only thing that's going to change is like the corporate structure. I think
Why did they buy it?
they bought it. The interview I read from a Microsoft executive or whoever said they were buying them because Mojang does like a lot of like mobile and social stuff. So it wasn't like even for Minecraft specifically, but you can it's like you'd have to be stupid not to think it was like 80% at least of like why they bought them, you know.
Well, I mean, it is Minecraft a game that they can make money off of?
I mean,
I mean,
yeah, it's pretty damn popular.
is it a subscription-based game? Like everyone, it seems like everyone who's already gonna play Minecraft has Minecraft.
That's true.
So I mean, if they were gonna buy it at this point, they'd just end up buying it so they could pay for server upkeep,
Well,
which doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
they also get the intellectual property, which might come in handy.
Yeah, so if they want to make Minecraft 2, Pixel Boogaloo or whatever the fuck, I
Right.
mean,
Or they could hand it to 343 Industries and have uh, Minecraft anniversary.
Yeah, there you go. Minecraft
Or they could
Anniversary
hand
Edition
it to
with.
Rare.
Yeah.
Does Rare even still exist?
And
The,
probably just only by name.
yeah. I think they still technically exist.
Yeah, I
Have
haven't
they
heard a
done
peep out of
anything?
Rare since. Did they even make that last Banjo game, Nuts and Bolts? Was that them?
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
them. But it
Okay, and then
wasn't.
before that they made Cameo, but that was 2005.
They're
So they really haven't done shit for like a decade
they,
hardly.
well, they've been doing like all the Connect Sports and Connectimals. I want to say
But
maybe.
does that even really count as game development?
Well, now we're just splitting hairs. Um, yeah. So even like Nuts and Bolts, I get the feeling like nobody who was at Rare when they made a Banjo Kazooie game was still at the company when they made Nuts and Bolts. You know, and
Grant Kirkhope did the soundtrack still. That
it's
was like the best part of the game.
well, unsurprisingly, um, they couldn't get David Wise though.
That sounds like Blizzard now. All of their original talent that was there when they were making their mega hits,
Yeah,
Diablo 2 and Warcraft 2 and StarCraft. All those people are long gone
yeah,
and you can just tell when you play that it's just a completely different group, it's a completely different mindset, a different approach.
hmm
And it's kind of sad because it's not as good.
yeah,
Like as compared to most developers in the industry, I'd say they're still doing a pretty good job,
hmm
but they're no longer like the every Blizzard game that comes out is guaranteed masterpiece, which is the level they were at, about 15 to 20 years ago.
right. And they used to be, I wouldn't say prolific, but they were definitely like on a roll. You know,
Yeah,
feels like
yeah.
we only get like a Blizzard game like every once in a while now. You know,
Yeah, it's like once every 3 or 4 or 5 years, maybe.
right?
I mean, they didn't after they released what World of Warcraft. That was in what
2004.
2004.
Yeah,
They didn't release anything else until 2010.
StarCraft, right?
Yeah, StarCraft 2, and then they released Diablo 2 in 2012, and they've done an expansion for each of those games. So I mean, they've been working on stuff, but
hmm
it's not like entire new games so much as expansions and
Right.
things of that sort.
And even like StarCraft and Diablo could be seen as like expansions in a sense.
Well, they tried with rather, I would say, mixed results to capture the feeling and the familiarity of the franchises that they were trying to sort of rebirth
hmm
with the new people and the new talent that they had, and it's kind of there. There's like the bones are familiar, but everything else is very different.
hmm Yeah, I mean it's like when you have a really you have like a classic car and like you're like swapping out parts and like eventually you wind up you've swapped out like every single part. Um, it's like at that point is it even the same car, you know? Like it's got
Mm.
like a different chassis and a different color and it's a convertible now, different
Yeah.
different engine.
Well, and
Um,
one of the mistakes they've made is that as much as they've denied it, they definitely have a bit of a chip on their shoulder about all of the criticism they've taken for not living up to the name of Blizzard North.
mm,
For instance, I think his name is Jay Wilson. He was one of the main guys at Blizzard through their StarCraft 2 and Diablo 3 days. And at a certain point, an interview came out with one of the designers from Diablo 2. And he didn't like bash Diablo 3, but he was very critical of some of the design decisions.
hmm
And I think to a great extent, I agreed with him. And of course, nothing being private anymore in the age of the internet, a conversation was leaked from, I believe, his Facebook. Uh, was somebody posted a link to the article, and his only response was "fuck that loser," and he ended up having to come out and make a very long-winded public apology for having said that, and he ended up leaving. I don't know if he left the company, but he did leave the development team not too long after that.
Hmm.
And it's just little things like that here and there where you could see them getting fed up with stuff like people who make suggestions for the direction they should maybe go in or try things by suggesting stuff that was in StarCraft 1. They're like, look, StarCraft 1 is a great game, and if you want to play it, it still exists.
Mm.
Just you can tell they get fed up with people comparing them to their predecessors. And I think there's definitely a bit of an inferiority complex there, which, I mean, to be fair, they are an inferior group of talent.
Right.
Not bad by any means. They're actually pretty good, but they're just not that good.
Right. I was cognizant of the news surrounding Diablo 3, when it was coming out. And I certainly whenever something would pop up from the developers, I would kind of check it out, and it definitely seemed like they weren't the most likable group of people.
They're not.
They were defensive. I guess I can't blame them for being defensive. I can't imagine the StarCraft community that's something so focused and hardcore is ever subtle in their requests for things. But they definitely seemed very defensive of what they had done.
Yeah, and that's true. The fan base for Diablo and StarCraft go back to the late '90s, and the ones that are left are generally a very, very dedicated group, like I was. I mean, I was a huge fan of those two games. I played the shit out of them for years. And I don't know if they could have ever really lived up to my every expectation. But I definitely felt like they fell pretty far short in some areas that there was really no need for. And that's especially true of the people they've got writing the stories for these games. They're amateur, to say the least. The game design that they've got going on in Diablo 3 and StarCraft 2 is generally pretty solid. I can't knock it too much. But whoever's writing the actual stories out is some 14-year-old who doesn't know what he's doing, basically.
That's very interesting you would say that, because I always felt like Blizzard, they weren't, I might be getting myself into trouble here. They weren't Obsidian levels of storytellers, but
oh no, they weren't on Obsidian's level. But one of the things that they did,
the Warcraft wiki and all the mythology there and all the crisscrossing and stuff, and I'm just I'm really dumbfounded.
Well, Warcraft is a bit of a mess. If you want something more focused, then StarCraft or Diablo would be where to look. And that's just because so many years of World of Warcraft has added all this junk into the sort of general lore and background. But one of the things that I think really set them apart in the 90s was that they were willing to write stories that were very dark, very non-optimistic, and where the good guys would only win Pyrrhic victories. They would win for now, but in the end they would be screwed. At the end of Diablo 1, the hero basically, he kills Diablo, and then what's left is sort of a shard of Diablo's soul. And there's no real way to destroy it, so he basically just absorbs it into himself to try and contain it. Well, he ends up losing, the battle for his own soul to Diablo, and Diablo comes back, using him as a vessel. And that sort of thing, or in Brood War, at the end of StarCraft Brood War, the bad guys win. Kerrigan goes on a rampage, murders fucking everyone, and at the end of the game, the good guys are barely alive.
Yeah, you definitely don't see that much anymore.
Yeah, and that kind of, the courage to go there instead of the usual, cliches, the good guys win, the main character gets the girl, blah, blah, which is the kind of crap they're writing now, except in a really ham-fisted and uninteresting way. So, yeah.
I definitely need to get into more Blizzard games. I still have a lot of friends who play Diablo 3, so maybe I'll check that out.
Yeah, if you were to start playing, I still play, so. I mean, you would just have catch up to do, basically, but it doesn't take that long. One of the main differences in design, where you can see the World of Warcraft influence in Diablo 3, is that Diablo 3 is very designed around max level.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in Diablo 2, max level was almost unattainable, like level 99. It was almost a waste of time to even try it because it would take so long. So the game, instead, the end game you would reach it at a certain point, but you would still have little things to do here, and you could make progress every now and then on your build. But it wasn't like the game starts when you get to level X, which is basically how Diablo 3 works. Like the game doesn't really start until you hit level 70. Whereas in Diablo 2, it takes a long time to get to level 30, to get to level 50, to get to level 80. And so there's a lot of content at every stage of the game, and as you progress through the different difficulties, and there are different items that you find at certain levels around the game.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in Diablo 3, for instance, if you were to pick up like a legendary item, it's basically just a lower level version of what you would find at level 70, so it's just got worse stats. Whereas in Diablo 3, you would find a completely unique item that you would really only find when you were, say, level 30-ish, and wouldn't really be much use once you got to level 40-something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the things that makes Diablo 2 a lot more fun to play through, whereas in Diablo 3, you're just like frustrated trying to get to level 70 so you actually start playing the game.
Interesting. So like 70 pre-70 is like a tutorial, I guess.
Yeah, it's basically you unlock the skills as you go, so learn the skills, but you're not going to keep any of this gear because it's all going to be shit the second you turn level 70.
Interesting.
And so
I don't think
like
I would mind that much, to be honest.
like a level 69 item is terrible compared to the same item except a level 70 version of it.
Cool.
Funny.
Continue.
What? You started to say something was funny?
I actually have a Diablo 3 mouse pad, but it was given to me by someone else.
Don't lie. You bought that limited edition mouse pad for $50.
No, I didn't. But I haven't even played a Diablo game. I might actually try to.
Diablo 2 is fun. You just have to prepare yourself for 2D isometric graphics. So if you don't mind going back to the Stone Age, then you're good.
Probably not. I've gone back to games with older graphics.
I think it'd be neat if we could get like a G-Forum Diablo thing going, I think so anyways.
Yeah, no, you would have to sort of try and schedule group time to play.
Right. I mean,
suppose.
like a lot of our, community game playing, like for the longest time, we couldn't even do anything because nobody had like the same consoles and the same games. Lately, it's been concentrated on the 3DS with, Pokemon and now Smash Brothers coming up. So I definitely want to like reach out to people who might not have, Nintendo systems.
Yeah, I don't have any Nintendo systems. I think actually I might have a 64 in a box somewhere.
I was also thinking, I brought this up on the last podcast of doing like, getting like an online enabled 64 emulator and having like a Smash 64 online tournament. We'll see.
Yeah, but Diablo 3 is not a game that requires a very nice PC to play. You can turn the settings down pretty far. That's one of the things that they definitely did a good job with, is they made a game that can play on a pretty wide range of computers.
They probably learned that
just keep turning all kinds of shit down.
Probably learned that from WoW,
Well, Diablo 2 did overheat my old laptop. If I would play it like in my lap, it shut down every now and then.
Diablo 3, does that have a Mac version?
Yeah, I'm positive every
Blizzard's pretty good about Mac stuff.
Yeah. Cool. Blizzard and Valve are pretty good with cross-platform. I like Valve because they also have Linux versions. Even though I don't run Linux anymore, I might in the future. Cool. So I'll keep thinking about that. Maybe get into Diablo 3 some. Maybe do, a Smash 64 online tournament sometime. But But yeah, I think that's gonna wrap up this episode. Thank you guys for showing up. Sixsicksixes just said he was disconnected.
Yeah, mine is telling me that there's a problem with this call.
Interesting. So I think this is a good point to call things off. Thank you all for showing up, and catch you on the boards.
Okay.
Indeed.